We do this every week. Jeff is a controller. Hello, and thank you for tuning in for another installment of The Perspective. As you can see, we have a little short cast. Vanessa is sick today. We wish her well.
Feel better.
Feel better, and she'll be with us next week. We also missing Jeff D. He's out doing big things and running
AKA nothing.
running business, but he'll be with us next week.
He's
again.
not missed.
So as far as our cast members, we have Stephanie here, and we have our other Stephanie here, and of course my name is Nikki, and we have a special guest today, Kawanza.
Hello.
So I want to say thank you for joining us today. Could you tell
me.
us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. My name is Kawanza. I have a company called K Billy Push, where I revolutionize education through media and communication. I am also the New York chapter leader, of the National Cervical Cancer Coalition.
Wow. I didn't know that.
Yep. So we actually, January was Cervical Health Awareness Month, but we do work year round.
Mm-hmm.
So we're in March, Women's Month, so we go as hard as we do in January in the month of March.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
That's good. Beautiful.
Well, cancer is a subject that is near and dear to my heart, but everybody either knows someone that's had cancer, has had cancer themselves, or has even survived or passed away from the battle with cancer. And to be more specific with cervical cancer, can you give us some Snapple facts?
Yes. So this is the thing about cervical cancer, and this is actually why I do the work, because most people, I'll say something about cervical cancer and people will be like, what are you talking about? What is that? I've heard of ovarian, I've heard of breast, but people don't really talk about cervical cancer because it stems from human papillomavirus, HPV. So in the field of cancer, it's like a dirty little secret, the cootie cancer, because you get it from a sexually transmitted disease. Cervical cancer, it's a lot of stuff in there. It's a lot. It's pretty deep, but it's you contract it through skin to skin contact. It doesn't have to be vaginal, penis. It could be flesh to flesh. It's the membrane, the soft pink tissue that women have, and even men have within the penis. That's where it affects. But it's not just vaginal. It can be oral and it can be anal. So we're finding out that there's a face every time. And
I didn't even realize my face was
I was like, oh wow.
because you said it's the pink part of the penis. So I'm like, hold up, the pink part.
So my partner Michelle, she's a co-chapter leader. She's actually a doctor, so she does she knows all the words in the term. I just paint the picture, and I get involved and create the events. But basically, the soft pink fleshy tissue within our uterus, and not our uterus, but our canal where the cervix is. It's similar to the tissue we have in our oral cavities and in our anal cavities.
Self-absorbs.
And that tissue is also similar to what's in where what is the urethra? So that's where it is. But the HPV lives in that type of tissue. So that's why you could be having anal and think, okay, I'm good, or even oral, and you may get oral cancer or anal cancer, things like that.
Wow.
So, but the HPV is linked. There are 4 different types of HPV that are linked to cervical cancer, but there are hundreds of strands. And what's cool about what I do, the education and awareness piece, is cervical cancer is 100% preventable. It's if you're responsible having sex, having responsible conversations with your partners, whether you are heterosexual or homosexual. If you're having these conversations that something's not feeling right, something don't look right, you're going to the clinic or to your doctor when you know you're ready to be intimate. You're you're going to have your annual checkups. You're good. And then also young people and men to the age of 28, the vaccine is available as well. So those are some facts. Man or woman can have it. We're starting to vaccinate young people as young as 8 to men, especially if they are homosexual, to 26, 28 years old. And HPV and cervical cancer is preventable.
Now, here's a question. A lot of people say, of course, once you're older, HPV is very prominent amongst a lot of people because it's just something that is not even of you. Is it something that can be, is it something that can be cured, or once you have it, you always have it?
Well, this is up for debate because there are different strands of it, and some could be like there's also a HPV strain connected to genital warts, like all types of things. But there are some strands that can be eliminated when you have responsible health habits, eating habits, exercise, and you're flushing toxins and all those things out of your system. Others, it will reoccur, but how you know that it's reoccurring is if you're getting abnormal pap smears.
Gotcha. Yeah.
So that's why, again, women at your wellness visits, which are annual, request it, but as of, I believe, 2015,
it's automatic.
It's now every 3 years.
Yeah.
So every 3 years. That's why if you haven't had one, I say go get one so you know, because you don't want to keep waiting.
And then 3 years
and then
go by.
Go by, and then it's a pop-up surprise type thing.
Wow.
I went to the doctor last month, and he told me that the HPV is gone.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Again, so
what do you mean the HPV is
and
gone?
so
I used to have abnormal paps, and
Yeah.
when he did it again, I had abnormal paps because of the HPV. He was like, you don't have it, and your paps are now normal.
Wow. Oh,
and
no.
that again goes back. It goes back.
All right.
It goes back
We're here.
One for the team.
a healthy lifestyle. Like
Yeah.
if you're eating responsibly, if you're responsible about your partners, and watching what goes into your body, you're good. And then you're on it, and you identify when something doesn't feel right or something's wrong, and you go to your doctor and actually identify these things. There are ways to prevent it. There are ways to, depending on your strain, get rid of it. And again, there are only 4 strands that lead to cervical cancer.
Once someone is diagnosed with cervical cancer, what are the chances of them surviving?
It depends on the stage. Currently, 12,000 women have succumbed to cervical cancer. About 5,000 are diagnosed each year. The survival rate is high, but the issue is you may have to have a hysterectomy. You may not be able to have children. Like, there are so many consequences that if you were on the prevention side, this wouldn't even be a conversation.
Right.
The rate, and I don't know why the numbers aren't coming to me, but it's nowhere near the death toll of ovarian or breast cancer.
Okay.
However, with the rate of cervical cancer going up, and the studies show that by 2050, 75% of America will have HPV.
Wow.
The possibility of you having cervical cancer goes up as well. Wow. That's why we're pushing prevention. We're talking about the vaccine, and we're even trying to get it into schools now and have conversations with young people and their parents about how rampant HPV is right now.
Vanessa actually sent us a link to a young lady in Elmont. She's 26 years old, and she
was diagnosed with stage 4 cervical cancer last week, and she's 26 years old, and it's now spreading to her spine.
See,
stage 4.
Stage 4.
And
Did she never have? I mean,
so
to
her,
get to stage
just
4.
so you guys know, her name is Katiana.
Wow.
Fogsam. I'm sorry if I'm saying your name wrong.
Wow.
She's 26 years old. She was just diagnosed with stage 4 cervical cancer. So she's from Elmont. So whoever is watching the show and know Katiana, we're sending our prayers and our love to you.
Absolutely. And please reach out to the Cervical Cancer Coalition. I'm not sure. Listen, we're here as a resource. We're here as comfort. We're here to raise awareness. So I'd be glad to reach out to some of the people, the experts that we know, to see if we can support as well. But exactly that. So how I'm in it, I've never had cervical cancer. But the reason, thank God, but the reason I'm involved, and I've been involved since 2009, I started as a Queens representative, is because one day I just wasn't feeling right. Sex and intimacy wasn't feeling right with my partner. Him and I had been together for maybe 2 years or so. And I was like, my body's not feeling right. I'm super tired. I'm in pain when we're having sex. Like, something's wrong. So I went to my doctor, and, we did some tests. I had a pap smear, And a week or two went by, and she called me like, you need to come in here.
Oh no.
Oh God, that's the.
And mind you, I'm 21, 22.
Nervous.
I'm like, what are you talking about that? So I go in, and she's like, okay, have a seat. I'm like,
I'd rather stand.
What is happening? She's like,
I'm gonna stand.
She was like, you don't have HIV, do you? I said, I've been coming to you for how long? No, I don't. We need to do another blood test.
I'm sorry, but I just got hot.
Yes. And I was like, but we need to do another blood test. So I'm like, we need to do another test. And she was like, she opened my file. She was like, oh, my bad. And then, yes.
Oh, my
bad. So, and this is a God, this is a true story. And so she's like, do you have any kids? And I said, no. She said, do you have a boyfriend? I said, yes. She said, how long y'all been together? I said, 2-3 years. She was like, has he proposed yet? I said, no.
What's going on?
She said, do you want kids? Do you plan on having kids? I said, I'm not sure. And she was like, listen, if you want children, you're going to need to start working on it now. I was like, what do you have to tell me? What's happening? And then so she was like, well, sweetheart, you have HPV. I said, well, what is HPV? And she said human papillomavirus. So she's giving me this pamphlet. I'm asking her, as my doctor, please tell me what's going on. Because now you're talking about, if he ain't marrying me, I need to find somebody who's going to marry me and have kids, because I may not be able to have kids. And I'm 21, 22 years old. So,
and then she thought that you had HIV. Like, it'd have been a different type of.
Like,
I hope she's still not your TYN.
No, I want to go into a specialist because the fact that she couldn't really articulate what HPV was to me. As a GYN, I'm like, I have a problem with that. So I'm sitting there, I'm reading through the material. I'm thinking doom and gloom. She's talking about hysterectomies and this, that, and the other. And I'm 21, 22.
Oh, God.
You haven't told me. I still don't know anything about cervical cancer.
Right.
I'm freaking out about HPV.
Right.
And so I went home. I talked to my sister about it. And she was like, no, sweetheart, you're going to come to my doctor.
Right.
And he's a specialist. So thank God. Shout out to Dr. Muller and Dr. Goldstein. I went to a specialist. And we sat and had just the coolest conversation, which really supported me. I had to have a LEEP surgery, which is where they put you under and they actually have to
scrape
and all of that stuff, which is a step of it's a step
below.
But the possibility was to be frozen or to get scraped, and I was past that stage where I did have cancerous cells. However, I did not have cancer, but to make sure they did that. And then since then, even still, I was having a conversation around sex and intimacy, like how did this happen? Where did this come from? Because I'm very clear where I've been.
Right.
And how do I have this conversation with him? Is he going to think it's something I did?
Right.
So there was a whole lot of things going on around that. So I found this network called Inspire, where it's for survivors of cancer and different type of diseases, and they had something under cervical cancer. And at the time, my new doctor, he laid it all out, let me know what it was. So I found it, and I couldn't find anything on the ground, real living color that I could support or gather with women like me. And I asked somebody hey, I want to just put a support group together in New York. Anybody down? And they were like, well, you never heard of the Cervical Cancer Coalition? And I said, no. So they gave me the link. I went to it. I found like-minded people. New York City was actually going through some turmoil, and the chapter was about to shut down. And I said, well, I represent Queens. At the time, I lived in Queens. So I was hitting up my friends who were DJs, getting on their radio station, going to parties. They would turn the music down and let me say, ladies, go get your pap smear. And that's how I started.
That's awkward after taking shots.
Yeah. I was like, yo,
go get pap smear.
Check yourself
I'd be like, don't talk to me. I don't want to talk to nobody in this club.
Listen, and then my friend DJ Show and Tell, he would like, yo, you want to come talk to my people about relationships and intimacy and all of this stuff, and I'll let you talk about HPV and cervical cancer. I'm like, hell yeah. So that's how it started, and then the chapter recognized me and was like, do you want to do this for New York? And I was like, sure.
Nice.
Wow. And so that's that. So the reason I'm involved is that awareness piece. There's no reason I should have been 21, 22 and a doctor being freaked out, and that being the first time I've heard of HPV or cervical cancer. So that's how I even got involved, and I've dealt with women or worked with women who are at stage 4, and I've worked with people who have HPV scares, and so I've been with people in all stages, and it's hard work, especially we're doing this for free, but the bottom line is I will not be responsible for another young woman going in the doctor being clueless about something that is so preventable.
Yeah.
So
I have a question. You know, you're gonna think I'm crazy.
No, I'm not.
So nowadays, like, they're saying, you know, HPV, if you've ever had unprotected sex, you probably have it or whatever. And I've been in conversations with women where they're just like, well, yeah, you know, I got it. You know, whatever. Like, like it's nothing, because nowadays, if you've had unprotected sex, you probably have HPV. And, well, you know, yeah, I got it. Girl, you got it too. Yeah, I got it. Don't worry about it. It's not a big deal. So I feel like now it's become so like, well, we all got it. Like, it is what it is. But until it becomes cancerous, that's when people take it seriously. So what do you say to the conversation now where it's just like, well, you know, I got it. And another thing is that it comes from the guy, you know.
Yes.
He don't know that he has it.
No.
We out here having sex with them and we get it. And I mean, a lot of people don't. It doesn't turn it doesn't turn into cancer for some, but for some it does.
Exactly.
The conversation now is just like, well, if I got it, you got it. Whatever. It is what it is.
And that's something that I've seen over the years, and I'm like, okay, there's nothing casual about it.
It's become very casual.
It's definitely something that it's common. Is very common. But at the same time, you get to be rigorous and responsible around your health. So I recommend safe sex. If that's your husband or your life partner or whomever, or your girlfriend, whoever, whatever y'all decide to do, you can still be responsible and safe. Because let's say, boom, y'all having unprotected sex, and this is just what y'all do, and then you take a break and whatever, and then he or she is out there doing whatever, and then y'all, boom, make up to break up back together, and then still in y'all same group, because that's what your comfort space is. He could have picked up a whole different strand of HPV. That's my concern. Jesus. And that's why and that's why I'm like, okay, well, throw a condom on it and figure it out. It's videos to figure out how to really enjoy yourself now. This is 2016. Figure it out, because it's the different types of strands that actually will create and also your genealogy. So, like, I would say be responsible, be rigorous about your health. It's your health. There's nothing casual about your longevity on this planet.
You're right. I agree with you 100%. But people are not wearing condoms. Like, not. I mean, it sounds cool.
But you know what, too? I think the reason why some of your girlfriends express themselves in that way, because when I went to the doctor and once he threw HIV, well, Lord,
stop saying that. Stop it.
HPV. At first he was like, you know, it's sexually transmitted. I picked up the phone. I let her was sexually transmitted. I picked up
what you gave me,
and I went off. And then when I went back to the doctor, he was like, no, he was like, it's transmitted sexually. Doesn't mean that it's a disease. So it kind of desensitized it a little bit. So we're almost like, oh, well, you know, I got HPV.
And it is what it is.
You know, so, you know, he didn't know. And I think that's where, too, that attitude comes in, because depending on how serious the information comes across to you as to, yes, this is, you know, sexually transmitted, doesn't mean it's a, you know, a full-blown disease, but it can become, unless it's being told that it can become something.
I think the conversation about it is not severe anymore.
It'll continue to be casual.
And that's the thing, like, people have removed even going to speak to parents around the vaccine, it's the fright thing. Oh, my kids aren't sexually active, and this, that, and the other, and blah blah blah. Which one may not be true. And two,
well, you know, these monkeys out here these days. Not to call them monkeys, but I'm just saying, you know, these kids is just
a rabbit. Listen, and it is what it is, whatever their situation. But if we speak about HPV and connect it to cervical cancer, anal cancer, oral, that's like, I think that, in my opinion, that's the conversation that gets to be had. And HPV is common. It comes and goes depending on what strains you have and how you treat your body. However, you don't want to be with one of those strands that will turn your whole life upside down. And that's what my thing is. I like to speak about it, not necessarily as the STD, more so of cause of cancer,
right?
A possible cause of cancer.
It's almost like when we go to the gyno and they tell us to check, our breast for breast cancer, and when we feel like, oh, it's okay, no, I didn't feel anything until it, you start feeling lumps. And shout out to Denise.
Yes.
She just turned 33 and she got diagnosed with breast cancer.
She was diagnosed with breast cancer
she's going through chemo a few days before her birthday.
She cut her hair, and she has a lot of love and support. So Denise, if you're watching, or Vanessa, we know you're watching, so tell Denise that we love her, we're supporting her. But yeah, so she's going through chemo now, and we've had a lot. Like you said, you have people, you go to the doctor and you don't pay attention. And I have a real life story actually. When I was 28, I remember I was getting, I was moving actually. I think I was moving into my apartment and stuff like that. And I'd like hit a box on like my boob or what. I'm like, oh, that hurt, And then I'm like feeling, I'm like, oh, I got a lump. And then I didn't pay attention, so I'm just like, oh, it's nothing, and I just kept going. And then it just kept, I just like, I'm still feeling this lump. So I don't know, I went to my doctor, my regular doctor, told him like, look, I have a lump, this, that, and the third. He goes, all right, so we're going to
biopsy.
We're going to do a sonogram and mammogram first. So because I was young, your breasts are more dense, so they said you have to do a sonogram. So did a sonogram, went to the specialist, take a look at it. I don't like it. We got to biopsy it. So I had to do what is it, abception? Where they so they did that. Luckily for me, the everything came out benign.
Okay.
And which I don't want to say what is so funny about the whole situation. So I go through this whole thing. Now my doctor's like, I do have breast cancer that runs in my family. So he's like,
you're highly susceptible.
Yeah. So at 28, he's like, I want you to start going for mammograms annually and stuff. And the week that I found my lump and I went through the thing, the day that I found out that my tests were negative, my older cousin, she was I want to say 36 at the time, found the lump.
Oh, wow.
So now she is going through, she's, doing everything, and she's like, okay, I have to do this, and I'm like, all right, they're gonna do an abscession and this, that, and the third.
Right.
And then she's like, could you come with me to go get the results? So I'm like, fine, we go get the results. I'm like, don't worry about it, it's gonna be just another negative. She was positive.
Wow.
So at 36, she went through, she had stage 1, but it was one of the more aggressive strands of cancer, so they ended up having to do, she did a
double.
She didn't do a double, she did one, and she did they did aggressive chemo and radiation. I mean, thank God, I want to say it's 6 years survivor. And but it's funny because in my family, this is so small, but in my family I have, my aunt passed away from breast cancer. Her oldest daughter had a cancer scare. Her middle child had a cancer scare. I had a cancer scare. My cousin was diagnosed with cancer, and then I had another aunt that was a survivor.
Wow.
And all my father's aunts and uncles passed away of a sort of cancer.
Wow.
They all did.
So it's very...
So when I go to the doctor, they're just like, okay.
I just said, let me just check down the list, and we'll figure it out.
Here's a question, because with breast cancer, they said that you have to wait until like you're 40 to start to get a.
It depends on your family history.
But what if you don't have history? Like my aunt was the first person in my family that had cancer. So up until then, no one had cancer. So what if you never had cancer? You're
supposed to check regularly and continuously. But there's certain things that make you more susceptible. Like if you have a first relative family history, you're more susceptible.
Right.
If you've over a certain age, like 40 and over, you're more susceptible. Well, that's what they say. They said, I read in a book, if you got your period early, you're more susceptible.
Wow.
Yeah.
I never knew that.
If you get your period, like 8, 9, you're more susceptible. There's certain things that make you more susceptible to getting breast, and a lot of people don't know this. To getting breast cancer. Don't get me wrong, you could have all of that and not have it, but because it's very close in your family, because it's very heavy in your family, those doctors are going to check you regularly, regularly.
Do you think the check should be, the age range for starting to check on a yearly, annual basis should be moved up
to 30, 35?
Yeah.
If you have it first generation in your family, it will be.
Yeah, I got moved up.
Right, but for me, I don't have it. First generation in my family, but because I'm in the healthcare field, I'm always checking. I'm always let's go. We here.
Yeah.
All the time or whatever. But, for people like you guys, definitely, absolutely, all the time, always. And you guys kind of have to live a different lifestyle, I guess you would say, because it's more so in your genetics.
Yeah.
You have to watch everything, like the smoking and the eating and everything, because it's that quick. So.
Yeah. So
which is scary.
It is scary. I think the key thing is just awareness. Like, you know, like just with cervical cancer, with breast cancer, with any type of cancer, just being awareness of what to look for. And of course, if you feel something, you know, is wrong, the first thing you need to do is go to your doctor.
Absolutely.
And it's funny because it's not to say that you can't live through cancer.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, I volunteered at the cancer center in the city, and it was amazing. Like, it is like these people are in for treatment, they go home, and they're fine. I knew a woman, leukemia, she's like in her 80s, 90s, you know, pretty much towards the end of her life. She would wake up every single morning, put a full face makeup, do her hair, get dressed, and power walk around the floor. That was her thing. Like, there was children in the hospital. It's all levels and ages, but you can live through it. It's not the end all be all for you.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, it's scary, but it's not the end. Like,
and even so, you're saying that the woman who put me on, Michelle, who had cervical cancer, it was my understanding that she thought she couldn't have kids, and now she has
which is not true.
Beautiful son.
Which is not true.
Beautiful, and we were on a conference call yesterday. You could hear him in the background, and every time I hear him, I'm just so excited for her. And then our newest member, Alshante, like, she's living a vibrant, full life just owning herself and just having a great time. And I'm grateful that she's involved because she just more recently started sharing her story, and the buzz that it has for the organization has been tremendous because of the life she's choosing to live after chemo, after the experience, all of that type of stuff.
I mean, it's traumatic. I mean, it's definitely a life-changing disease, but it's not the end.
It's not a death sentence.
People are living with HIV. People are living through cancer. Like, it's not
with
the
awareness
end.
and prevention. And then if you do get diagnosed, it doesn't mean it's the end of the world.
Exactly.
You know? So, ladies, we're gonna switch gears.
Okay.
And we're gonna, you know, what we do here is we usually Jeff is with us.
Well, thank God he's not, you know?
And he gives us these random topics, you know, just we have callers call in, people ask him, and we just discuss the topics. Callers, if you're listening, you could call in and talk 516-945-9099. So our first topic, our topic for this next half hour is going to be dating.
Okay.
And
what's that?
What is that?
What's that?
And it's funny because
anybody need a refill?
Yeah, I might. Well, I know.
The day I had my two already. And I called and asked.
What's a good question is, someone asked me, and I was like, you know what? I'll start with the first one because it's a couple of tiers question. The first question is, when dating, what are you looking for in a man? And there's a reason why I'm asking this. So, what type of qualities? When somebody says, what are you looking for in a man? How do you answer that?
Oh shoot! So I've been trained to just be authentic with the situation, and for me, it's more values. I'm looking for a certain set of values. When I'm dating, I'm looking to see what actions he's doing to have me be triggered. That he's courageous, that he's compassionate, that he's generous, that he's loving, that he's responsible, and that he's risk-taking. Those things are important because of the life I live and the union and the vision that I have for my relationship.
How old are you? Sorry.
I'm 29. I'll be 30.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, honey, 86, baby.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
So, okay.
All right.
Yeah, so I've been trained to think this for the last 3-4 years of my life through a wonderful program that I'm involved in. And I can say having that type of mindset and then also choosing to date, because a year ago I released a 7-year relationship.
7
I like
years.
7.
No, but I like how you said release.
Girl,
Like when you take your
bra
bra strap
Whoa,
off.
and
You know that feeling?
When you pop that bra back in the day, that type of release.
Exactly. So I released a relationship, a 7-year relationship, about a year ago, and even still, I had to opt into dating. So I opted into dating and then started to write letters to God, letters to the universe of who gets to be in my life, because my life is the bomb.
Mm.
So who gets to be there with me? Who do I get to hold their hand while we go to the next level?
Right.
And so it's more. There are definitely some physical attributes, but more so, I'm grounded in what our life looks like, and that's where I came up with my values.
What do you look for in a?
She's talking to you, not the tree behind you. She's talking to you.
Over there.
It's not that plant behind you.
What are you looking for
It's
in
you.
a man?
I think for right now, support is big for me.
Mm-hmm.
And I discovered that support is something that I thought I never needed, but it's something that I really look onto. So I'm actually looking for a guy that shows me through his action of what he does for himself, his family, and how he shows up in my life to show that he's a support to me. Just to not to say like, I have bills, I have all of these things. So I'm thinking just in the terms of like small gestures, and just so like if I'm going through something like within my family, how are you showing up to show that you're there for me? And I really look for that, the confidence in you.
Yeah.
I cannot tell you
Please.
where you
Walk
wear
into
your
that
confidence
room.
when you walk into that room and everyone looks at you. And sometimes your clothes absolutely matters, because how you show up is how people depict you and how you depict yourself.
Yes.
Absolutely.
So even if a guy walks into a room in sweats, that's just his down day. You can feel that man's power and his confidence walking straight through
that print in
because
his
he is
sweats.
clear within himself. So I'm actually looking for confidence. It just radiates right through.
It does.
So confidence, support, and to know that you got my back and I could lean on you. Like that I got you is so important to me. Like I hold on to it for dear life. Is the I got you.
Okay, let me ask you this. Because you know I'm that girl.
Yes.
This man comes around, all of that and then some. Pow, pow, pow.
I think you about to. I think.
And then y'all get down,
Okay, it's not the question.
It may not work.
and it's whack.
You
A conversation's gonna have to happen because
Like it's
sex is
wiggity,
important.
wiggity whack. Like whack, whack.
A conversation
Go
will have
ahead.
to happen because I've been there and I told myself I refuse to go back. I
No,
refuse to go back.
no. There
So
is
it's
no
a
going back.
conversation that has to happen, because if I love you, if I care for you, and if I see you as my future, I'm not going to just retreat because somebody may not have told you. You may have been walking around.
And you know
thinking
what's funny?
you're
A lot of these guys are walking around here like they got it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
girls
they
are not telling them.
Yeah.
They
Stop
don't
lying.
say
Y'all-
Stop
anything.
lying.
Y'all are not
They're not
slinging
doing
it.
it.
'Cause I
You're
know-
not handling business.
I know people that had partners and that expressed to them and saying, look, this is not what I like. This is
not
what I
working.
like. It changed the game for them after.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Yeah.
because sometimes the guy's like, oh, okay. Because if you're not having the conversation and
He
you
thinks
too
he's
busy
doing
trying to
it.
make him feel good while you whispering to your homegirls
Yes.
or to these other people that, oh, it's whack, it's not going to support him. And I'm big in emotion. Emotional goes into that sex. So if you
Yeah.
already start to look at him like you don't see him as a man or you don't see him as
Yeah.
satisfactory
Take that
to
whole
you,
Right. He's
it
not.
takes that whole intimacy away.
I don't understand guys though, because they can take apart a transmission, but the vagina is such like a weird place that they just cannot master. And I don't understand why it's like
And-
y'all have such a hard time navigating the vagina, but you could tell me what's wrong with my car because you heard it 3 blocks down. Like I don't get it. Like
Because
I agree
well,
with
I'm
you.
gonna
I don't get what's wrong with y'all.
because one, every woman is different, and
I
then
agree.
again, people aren't being authentic with the connection.
I agree.
So, Stephanie, she knows that I have this event called Single, Sexy, and Brilliant, where I have relationship coaches and life coaches and matchmakers.
single, sexy, and brilliant.
Single, sexy,
That's what they
brilliant.
used to call me
Oh yeah, all right. And it will be coming to Long Island soon
back
too.
in my day.
But in that workshop, we talk about this. Like, if you're in a position where you don't feel comfortable saying, "Listen, that was whack," and this is what we can do to fix it, then y'all don't need to be
Have
having
sex.
sex.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
But you have to say that was whack. You can just be like,
Sometimes you might have to say that was
no,
wrong.
don't get me wrong. You can say it in
Depending
different
on their
words.
communication style.
Yeah,
Right.
depending on their communication styles.
Right. It could be a little
With love.
Yes.
Right.
And here's the thing too. I feel like a lot of times with men, they're not looking to please you.
They looking to get
Right.
off.
It's very for self. Like when
Yeah.
it's like
Yeah.
intimacy, like Sylvia High says, into me you see.
Yes. it's
Okay.
true.
If
Yes.
you're really looking to be into the person, to fall in love, to be attached with the soul or whatever it is, it'll heighten up the sex. Not to say that
Yeah.
it'll cure the
Right.
The
whackness.
fact that you can't pump.
But when you are like
connection
equally
you
yoked,
get,
that connection
yes,
with
the
that person.
connection.
If you're
It's a
looking to
huge
just have
difference.
sex with me, I'm going to feel it. I'm
Yeah.
going to feel like you're looking to get off. You have achieved.
Right.
Yeah.
Goodbye. But
Yeah.
if you're really looking to please me and to satisfy me because you care
Yeah.
and you find joy and pleasure
Right.
in lifting me up to a higher place, okay,
Wow.
Yeah,
then,
it's
Hello.
true.
then
It's
it's a
big
whole
difference.
different thing.
Right.
And you know, good sex can keep a woman way
Come on.
longer.
Yes, wait.
You hear Mary?
Way longer.
Sex was good,
Way
you had my mind.
longer.
I'd be coming
Like,
back
you know,
every
good and
time.
damn well he was not good for you,
Come
Yeah,
on.
I have a
but
question.
he was doing his thing.
Next question is, whether you realize it or not, do you have a type?
Yes.
Yeah.
So here's the thing. I didn't realize that I had a type. Well, and it's so funny because my husband is not my type.
They never are, honey.
Yeah, that's true. You always
the one that you wind up with is
you're
never
the
the
part. Yeah. So, and, you know,
Girl.
I remember, you know, when I was dating way back in the days, my girlfriend, shout out to Phyllis in North Carolina, I call her Shimmy, she used to not rag me out, but she was like, you always dating these pissy yellow men. And I swear to God, she would
That is
tell me
not
that.
your husband.
And she's like, and I'm like, what are you talking about? And she was like, everybody you dated is tall and light skinned. And I'm like, no. Oh, and I was shocked because when I started to think about it, I'm like, I did date a lot of
Yeah.
light-skinned guys, and my husband is anything but.
Oh, no. He
He's-
ain't like.
And it was funny because she was like, you date, and she pointed out to me, she's like, you dated, like, you know, you dated more slender guys, they were light-skinned, they were tall,
Yeah.
like basketball statures, and they were light-skinned. And my husband is dark, chocolate, football, big man.
Speak on
I'm,
it.
Yeah, scared because he looked like a
Messy.
bouncer type dude. You
Yeah.
know? That's my husband. So when she met my husband, she's like, oh my God, you know, like.
Who is this
Yeah,
man?
like, are you sure you with my shimmy and stuff?
Uh-huh.
But I say that I want to ask about this. Is this is all correlating with the question stuff actually because I got a
Yeah.
good story in there. But do you have a type?
I
I
do, and it's funny because my dating experience, I've always just chosen the safe route to date my best friend because
Okay.
he had my back or
Right,
whatever.
right,
We don't
So
wanna go there.
and no, I was like a serial best
Another
friend
story,
dater,
another
like a
show.
serial best friend dater, and like long-term relationships. So now that I'm single, I'm acknowledging that I do have a type, and I'm seeking that out just to see what it's like. And so I do.
Okay.
I like.
You have a type physically, you think?
I'm
Or
definitely like I'm acknowledging that I have a physical type. But
Right.
before I'm like, no, I'll date any, whatever.
right.
But yeah, I like tall men. Definitely, I'm 5'7", and
Okay.
I like
That's
that.
taller than you.
Tall, brown skin.
Do you have a type?
Um,
Physical.
Physical.
Physical type.
I do. I realize that I do like fit men.
Mm.
Whether you're tall, whether you're firm. It's funny because when I was heavier, I attracted a whole different set of men. I attracted like the heavier guys. And when I started to lose weight, I got model type men, the big buff bodybuilders and stuff. I'm like,
Alright.
hello.
Yay.
So, but personality wise, I attract the type, and we talked about this the
shoot.
first show.
you did touch
that,
this on the
that
first
I did attract the type, but I don't think I have one. It's really about the vibe. Like if I'm vibing with you and stuff, confidence, yes, but physical, I like a good looking man.
yeah.
Did you have a physical
I like
type?
a good looking.
Did I have a
smell
physical type?
good?
Smells is great.
Man, you smell
Oh,
good. I'm
yeah.
done.
Yeah.
You smell good. I'm done.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
You walk in the room, you
Smells
smell
good
good.
at night.
I can't even have the conversation. Just be staring
I'm a
at
sucker
it.
for the raising of the eyebrow. I'd be like all over the place.
I don't know.
So, but like tall, short, I don't really mind. I dated someone who was not short, but not short,
Not
but
tall for a guy.
not tall
For
for
a
a
guy,
dude.
short guy.
But
Yeah.
what
I
attracted
dated
me
short
to
guy.
him was
Me
his
too.
confidence, how he dressed. He was clean when he was in
Yeah.
that suit,
He was
and
sharp.
he was like very
He was
fitted.
sharp.
And when we swept the dance floor, I didn't know what
Swept
was
the
going
dance
on.
floor.
He
Swept.
swept me on that
Swept
dance
the
floor.
dance
I was
floor.
like gliding like I was
Um,
Cinderella or something.
Do I have a type? Back when I did date,
I know. Exactly. It's been a while.
because he's crazy. I don't think I did, but my friend used to always say, I used to go for those baby face kind of guys. Like, oh, he's cute.
Chubby?
But I've dated chubby guys. I've dated basketball players. But this is the thing. The chubby, bigger ones treated me like a queen.
Yes.
But
Yes.
I was younger. I was so caught up in how they looked
Yeah.
that I kind of went back to that good-looking basketball player
Yeah.
who didn't treat me as well, but
Yeah.
damn, he looked good on my arm. So that's what
Eye
I was.
candy.
Oh, honey, or whatever. So that was cool. But one thing I will say is that before, I think I used to date guys that I could overpower. You know what I mean? Like, because I'm a strong personality.
Yeah.
I don't want to use the word control because I don't want to control any guy. Like, I would never date someone I can control. But I was like, I was kind of like, well, you know, I'm doing better than you. I might make more money than you. You know what I mean? It's kind of like, I kind of got that over you.
Got one up on them.
Right. I was like that one up on him. And then it's funny because I have a friend of mine. I hope you're not watching. I have a friend of mine who he's very successful. He's very educated, successful, makes amazing money, and cannot find a girl. And he wants to date African American women. And I'm like, what's wrong with you? Like, why can't you find a girl? And he straight says, women are intimidated by me. A lot of, and you'd be surprised, a lot of black women.
Is he good looking?
He's okay looking.
Can we do bring him here?
I'm about
like
to say,
no, but this is the thing though. You'd be surprised because he comes across black women all the time. And he's finding that the black women that he date are so used to dating black men that are not established, educated, you know, all of this stuff, and they don't know what to do with him. Because they're so used to being that girl to guys that are not that guy. You get what I'm saying?
Exactly
so because he's so established and educated and makes money, he doesn't need anything from them, and he's willing to spoil them. They don't know what to do with that.
So, Kwanzaa, do you feel like a woman?
Are you single? Huh?
Oh, him? He's single right now.
Okay.
He's single.
No, you can't bring him on. We need to do some type of speed
He
dating.
would kill me if he knows I'm talking about him right now.
And he's a good-looking man to me.
But
do you feel like a woman of your caliber have all these successes to you, the titles to you? What is it like for you dating? Do you find the same adversities with men being intimidated by you, or you don't even attract that blood?
So listen, last year I did this
Mm-hmm.
thing called Year of Love where I opted into dating, and between last year and this year I've really worked on myself and saw how I was I was able to attract different men. But I've had men like lie about who they are and what they do. This last guy I dated, really cool dude. The first short dude, he's like 5'2", but when he walked in the room, you thought he was 6'10".
That's right.
That's really a powerful.
They move like cats.
They do.
A powerful,
They do.
real cool dude. When we met at a friend's party when I didn't have any goals on my mind, which is rare. I was drinking, having a good time, and we crashed into each other. It was awesome. He found out through a friend the things that I do, so he pretty much materialized his life. And he would wine and dine me, buy me things, all these type of things. But when he ran out of money and didn't understand, I'm doing great things, but I like picnics and walks. Like I don't really need all of that. I love to be spoiled, but I'm a pretty simple woman. When he couldn't keep up with his own thing that he created, that's when his facade came down. I was like, oh shoot. But I've been in situations where guys feel like they have to pump up.
Yeah.
But more recently, I'm meeting men who actually have integrity and do what they say and say what they mean, and it's great. And guys who are really shooting for the stars. But I've had situations where guys are like, I have to look like this type of guy.
Because I think they think that that's what we want.
Yeah.
But men are so dumb.
Here's the thing too. What I've come across. When guys meet me, they'll be like, oh, well, you don't want someone like me because you have a master's and you have this.
You're right. I don't want someone like you because you're mad insecure.
But here's the thing. I used to catch myself being like demoralizing my accomplishments. I'd be like, well, it's not like I use my master's. It's not like I think.
Bringing yourself
I would
down.
bring myself down to meet you where you were at. And I really took a step back. I'm like, wait. I actually got my master's because I said so.
Right.
And I am where I am because I said so. And by the grace of God, he decided me to put me where he wants me to be. So you do find that space, but I feel like as single women and as women of achievements, you have to really stand your ground in what you are and who you are and where you plan on going, because you can easily be like, you know what? Maybe, I couldn't date him. Like, I'll die myself down just a little bit just because you think in a scarcity conversation, I might as well get him because nobody else will want me. But I literally have to change my surroundings. Instead of me going to some kind of club, I went to the elite parties.
Yeah.
You meet them men.
You'd be surprised what's out there if you stop going to boom boom shadoom doom on this place and you really start going to the Upper East Side.
It's true. It's definitely true.
Would you date a guy that is less successful than you.
What do you consider successful? That's
that's a
well,
question.
well, what would you consider yourself successful so that he is less than? So meaning, if you.
Right,
well,
like,
no, but what I'm saying is, like, would you, so, like, some people will consider themselves successful because they have a great career.
Right.
But some people might consider themselves because they got a lot of money. You know, everybody determines they're successful. So, what do you determine is successful, and would you date somebody who's not that, he's not saying he's intimidated by you. He completely sees you as who you are. He's just not where you are.
Yeah.
Would you date him? He wants to date you. He wants to court you.
So here's my thing with that question. It would really have to depend on, does he find himself to be a success? Like, are you comfortable where you are? Not comfortable, but you're like.
Here's the question. He knows where he is.
He
knows where he wants to go.
For me,
he's confident with himself. Yeah. But he's just not at the level where you are on certain statures. And so would you date a guy?
Okay, for example, the guy I just described, you guys are like, oh my God, where is he? Where is he? He could be a woman beater.
Right.
He could be insecure. There has to be a reason why he's, you know what I mean? But I gave you this platform, like, he's this, he's that, he's this, he's that. And you guys are like, oh, where's he at? Bring him.
And the reason why I did that is because in my experience, if you're putting that much love and care into your career, if you're a grounded person, that means that you have certain values.
Okay, gotcha.
And integrity about yourself that other people don't.
Operative word, if you're a grounded person, because some people put they put their hard work into their careers because they're narcissistic and they want to.
Exactly.
Right.
And that's why I said if you're a grounded person. So that would be something that I'd be interested in investigating.
Gotcha.
And that's what dating is to me now.
Yeah.
Where before I had dating as like the end all and be all and I have to get a ring on it. Dating is now an investigation, a discovery process, and it's fun. So how I had it before, I'd have to marry that man. But how it is now is I'm interested in
getting to know who he is
and like why is he single if he's fabulous.
That's a whole nother show.
You know what I mean? Yeah. But that's what that is. But to answer your question about like I'm like what I'm up to, he gets to keep up. So even if we don't have the same things materialistic, there's a certain set of values that I'm looking for that will produce a certain set of results that are in alignment with my vision for a relationship. Our visions have to match.
That makes sense.
He has to be a hustler because I'm a hustler. If he's not a hustler, he has to be a major supporter because he gets to know and be a part of the things I'm creating. So that's my thing. So it's what he defines success as, and he has to be ready to like go.
So the reason why I ask these questions about dating and stuff is a lot of times women goes, it's so hard to find a good man and so on and so forth. And I think I saw a clip with Steve Harvey, and it was a set of twins actually, women, black women, and they had.
I didn't see this.
They went to Steve Harvey because it said, look, you know, we're trying to find good men, you know, we want to date and this, that, and the third, and they gave Steve this long list of criteria what they wanted in a man. So Steve put him on a blind date, and he set him up with these two men that he said he felt like they were perfect for the two
twins.
women. They're going to blind date. They meet the guys. The guys are not physically that attractive. You know, they said they had, you know, okay jobs. They live in an okay life. And these girls is like standoffish and so on and so forth. Come to find out, these are two very successful black men. One was a doctor. One was like a CIO or CFO or something like that. I can't remember the position, but they both have very prestigious successful careers. When you took off all the ugly makeup, they were actually very attractive men and stuff like that. And the men said that soon as, you know, they were telling, you know, they came to tell the twins how they felt about, you know, reciprocating with the date, and they said, you know, a lot of it was like, you so standoffish, you didn't even give me a chance to see
who you are.
Who I am.
Yeah.
So actually, I got a twofold thing, because a lot of women say, oh, you know, I'm not going to do that, but, and the reason why I asked, what, you know, what's your type and stuff like that, would you date somebody who you're not initially attracted to, and two, and you know, Steve's whole point was, you need to kind of look outside of your box. If your box, you know, saying so
your box is not working.
Right, you know, you might not find him when he's at his successful point.
Yeah,
you might find him when he's working his way there.
Yep.
But if you ignore him because he's not there yet, you just missed the boat.
Yeah.
So here's my thing with that. number one, if I'm not attracted to you, I can't fall in love with you. I can't fall into you.
You know what?
So
you never know.
Because the issue I had with that show was it made it seem like they were like gold digger kind of stuff, or they're not really looking at it. But for them, yes, I kind of agree that they were gold diggers. But just because you had everything that I looked for, why does that mean that I have to automatically, okay, I should be with you?
No, it's not about I should be with you, but they didn't even give
them a
guys
chance.
Yeah, no, I would give them a chance.
You know,
but
like, do you find, like, you know, can you grow and can attraction grow?
Yes.
Through conversations.
I think it
not
can.
I think it can too. Not with
I
an
think
issue.
it definitely can.
Especially if you don't try to be a dating first, and if you say, hey, this is just somebody cool, you can having that conversation, can you grow to actually like that person?
I don't know. I've never grown to like anyone.
Right.
I've always just been attracted to them, and then it worked out.
How's that
didn't
working
work.
for you?
It hasn't been working great.
Okay.
But even with guys that I wasn't that physically attracted to, some of the things they had to offer, it outweighed their look. Do
you think you closed yourself off because you didn't find them physically attractive? You say if I don't find you attractive,
I'm not even giving you.
No, because just attractiveness for me can look different.
It's not. I'm sorry. This is not an attack. This is not an attack. Attraction for me could look different.
Right.
Like, I could not, you may not be the cutest person in the world, but I was attracted to you in some kind of way. When I say attract, it doesn't have to necessarily mean your physique.
Right.
So the target in that show was to see if they would like them because if they changed their looks.
Well, no, he did all around. He changed their looks first of all because he wanted to see were they able to look past the physical act, and then because their whole entire list was a lot of materialistic things.
Yeah.
But he changed their look, he changed their careers and so on and so forth altogether to see could they see a good personality out of this person. Doesn't mean I have to date you.
That's a great experiment.
But could I think it's a great experiment because I think a lot of women don't.
Yeah.
You know, they say, they go, I'm willing to date anything, but as soon as a guy comes that may not be, you know, the end all of what you feel is proper, you're like, oh, I'm not gonna.
Yeah, the person has to really like fall in love with it because one of the guys that I really liked, I didn't think he was that fine. I really did not think he was that fine, but what he brought, I was like, yes, like he just had everything and it shunned out. I thought he was sexy to me.
Yeah, I've had that experience as well, where I'm like, oh my, okay, I'm seeing you. I'm like, is this really what I'm seeing? But I'm like, who this man is in my life is just so much more important. And the next thing you know, I'm like, he fine.
Yes.
And so I can, in my experience, I can definitely look past it. Okay. It's more so about who he is and who he's willing to be in my life, and then also in his, because you can keep pouring into me, but if you're, and that's where I said you're either a hustler or a supporter of the hustle, and that's important to me. So I can definitely look past you, but there are certain qualities and values that you have to have, and be willing to manifest into action in your life to have me even look at you like you could possibly be something for me.
I mean, every guy that I've dated, I was not attracted to them at all. Like, a lot of times, but to me, if we can have a conversation, that is like, something opens up for me, and I'm just like, oh my God, we could talk. We could talk about anything. And then I 100% believe you can grow into attractive with someone, because I've met guys who were interested in me and I'm not interested in them, but a conversation turned into a date, turned into hanging out, turned into talking on the phone, and all of a sudden I was just like, he is fine. You know those girls when they walking down the street, they were like, why is that beautiful girl with that terrible looking man? Like, you can't tell her. Exactly. You can't tell me nothing. When I was walking hand in hand with that man, you couldn't tell me nothing about it. Because to me, he was it. He was just like, and you were like, oh my God, something. I don't know what y'all talking about. Like, y'all don't see this God next to me? Because it was so much deeper than the physical. And I do believe women, we are superficial. I'm superficial. Like, I will say that 100%. But there's something when you tap into something deeper that all of that goes away. And I tell my girlfriends this all the time. He may not be the best looking one, but I'm telling you,
he's better be bringing something to the table.
That boyfriend that I was with that treated me like he wasn't good looking. He treated me like a queen. He had a career. He had money. But he just wasn't a looker. I mean, I was young, so I didn't really appreciate it now, whatever. But he is a good guy,
right?
And it's kind of like, I feel like sometimes we get in our own way.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And we can't get past the superficial. If this man treats you like a queen, because these good looking guys are here, they not.
That's like Tamar and her husband.
That's what, you know, and it's funny because when I saw Tamar and her husband, I was like, why is she with that big old hunky-dory looking guy? He loves her. Like, he loves her. And she's crazy enough.
She's crazy about him.
And she loves him.
Yeah, she loves him. So we just, I
love Tamar, though.
Yeah,
I love Tamar.
But our hours up.
Wow.
Wow. We never
like 15 minutes.
I know, we never get to finish a conversation. Like, it's always that show. But before we go, I want to thank Kwanzaa for stopping with us. Thank you so much. And just give us a little your information to the viewers.
Oh, I'm sure. It's so much information. But for questions about cervical cancer, you can email me at kbilly, KBILOY, at ncconline.org, and to hit me up on Instagram, I'm simply Miss Beauty and Brains. Twitter, simply Miss Billy.
All right,
so that's where you can find me.
Thanks again for coming, and we'll
Thank
see you next
coming
week.
To the madness.
Yes.
It was fun.
Yes, it was fun. We never get through a whole conversation. All right, thanks for tuning in.
Next week.
Bye.
Bye.
See you next week.